Welcome to Celestial Insights, a weekly podcast that brings the stars down to earth. I'm your host, astrologer, coach, and intuitive Celeste Brooks. My purpose is to provide practical, unique, and insightful guidance to help you navigate the energies of the week like a boss. Hello, this is Celeste of Astrology by Celeste, and on this episode, I will discuss the astrology for the week of October 5th, 2025. This is the last call for the OPA Cosmic Shift Retreat in Park City, Utah. I will be teaching predictive astrology over 3 days. The event is from October 15th through October 19th. And OPA is the Organization of Professional Astrology. If you'd like to join us, check out the link in the show notes. There's also a link to give feedback on the podcast, and I'll be giving away another free reading, and the winner will be selected the first Sunday in November. So if you haven't filled it out yet, please do. If you already did, you will be in the next drawing as well. Next, let's take a look back at astrology in action. Last week, we had a first quarter moon in Capricorn. The moon rules the people and Capricorn rules the government. And there was a rare in-person gathering of 800 generals and admirals that was called by the Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth at Quantico in Virginia, to talk to them about a stricter warrior ethos. You can think about Neptune in Aries, the sign of war. And Neptune has to do with illusions and imagery. There was an emphasis on going back to older military standards, including grooming, uniform and appearances, fitness, and literally the weight. We are currently in Libra season. It's an air sign that is ruled by Venus. The air sign piece speaks to how one is perceived socially, and appearance is part of the relationship balance that Venus governs over. Libra seeks beauty, refinement, and there's an emphasis with the scales is the glyph for Libra about symmetry, proportion, and equilibrium. People who have strong Libra energy in their charts often present themselves very well. There will be an elegant style. Now, shadows can be so concerned about how things look that the real substance or competence of a person is not considered. This whole meeting was meant to make Pete Hegseth look leaderly, and it had the absolute opposite effect. Your cosmic advantage begins with the Wise Skies digital calendar, with descriptions for every planetary and lunar event. All levels of astrology enthusiasts can enjoy the calendar on any device and now in many languages. With this superpower in your back pocket, you will be fully equipped to understand the astrological weather any day of the week. My good friend and collaborator, Tiffany Herlick, creates this calendar every year, and I use it daily. I highly recommend it. Use my coupon code for $10 off. The code is ABC2025. Let the universe have your back with the Wise Skies digital astrology calendar. The theme of this week is Dr. Sleep, and there's 3 big things I want you to think about as you navigate this week. The first is that we're now navigating a reversed lunar rhythm. because we had two new moons, one at 0 and one at 29 degrees of Virgo. So going forward, the full moon will come before the new moon. So we're going to have this month a full moon in Aries before the new moon in Libra. Then we're going to have the full moon in Taurus before the new moon in Scorpio, and so on. So the energy is reversed of what feels natural. Most of us are familiar with the rhythm of the lunar cycle, where a new moon brings in a fresh start, there's new beginnings, seeds are planted, and the light grows to the full moon. But right now, the full moons are arriving first. The energetic flow can feel off and unsettling, and something can seemingly come out of nowhere at the full moon. The new moon is about setting intentions or doing something new that had to do with what happened that was feeling like potentially it was out of your control. So what we're being asked to do is confront revelations or endings. For the next 6 months, the new moons are at 28, 29 degrees. So the very end of the sign, there's a bit of crisis and decay before we started something new. So there's an awareness with a full moon that brings matters to light. Something that was hidden or simmering beneath the surface now demands attention. There can be endings that trigger beginnings rather than a seed planted going to a blossoming state. So it's important for us to maintain flexibility. Themes are closure. Plans may need to be reworked. So getting frustrated about that is futile. This can feel a little chaotic, but it's not a mistake. This is the way the cosmic is supposed to unfold at this time. So what can we do? We can stay adaptable because circumstances can shift quickly. The more you cling to rigid plans, the more stress you'll create in your own life. Embracing release, letting go of something you thought you were going to do is not a failure. It may be something necessary due to the changing times. Pause before reacting. If you stay flexible, this reverse rhythm can be a powerful teacher, helping us release what's no longer serving us and then embracing new beginnings on the horizon. The next thing I want to make you aware of is that Mercury, the planet of communication, commerce, and transportation, will travel in the sign of Scorpio from October 6th through 29th. Scorpio is deep waters. It's a fixed sign. There will be themes of secrets, hidden motives, psychological insights, great energy to examine the shadows, understand why you're doing what you're doing, asking probing questions. Themes of the occult may be coming up. Mercury is the trickster. It depends on what it's talking to. It can negotiate, but it can also destabilize and argue. There's going to be behind the scenes dealings and Seven of Swords energy, and that can be taking strategic action, or there's also themes about betrayal and deception. Stories of corruption may be coming up in the collective. Mercury will move from 29 degrees of Libra, where there can be a lot of chatter, and then someone says something that is so sharp and cutting, people get silent or start whispering quietly. Thoughts and conversations go underground. Notice stories you see about tunnels or things, underground tunnels that are related to water. So the first thing Mercury does when it enters the sign is it starts to square Pluto in Aquarius, which rules technology. So there could be some big story about a power outage, communication outage due to some kind of cables failing or being cut. I would recommend making sure your phone is completely charged today and your computer and all of those things, just in case there is some kind of outage where you are. Curiosity takes on a probing, investigative edge. Like Watergate reporters Woodward and Bernstein, who go deeper and deeper into a story, trying to find out everything they can. Words can carry more weight, the tone sharpens, and there's this pursuit of truth with just a laser precision, a fixation, an obsession. I think a lot of sexual secrets may be coming out. When Charlie Kirk's funeral happened, there was a Grinder, which is an app for men to meet each other for sex, outage in the town that it was in. And someone has been threatening the head of the House of Representatives that they were going to release his Grinder profile. So he was threatening to let this out last week. I don't know if it happened or not, but if it did happen, there can be a lot of other people who've been on the down low in marriages or relationships with women, but having sex with men unbeknownst to their partners, being exposed. This is a great time on a personal level to do any kind of research, shadow work, and have focused and strategic planning can go really nicely with this energy. Also, having deep, intimate conversations where you talk to someone about things that are uncomfortable, things we'd rather disown about ourselves, that can be bringing up these deeper things for healing. You may decide it's time to go to therapy. That would be a wonderful thing to do with this energy. The last thing I want to make you aware of is that there's a full moon at 14 degrees of Aries tomorrow. Aries is the first sign of the zodiac. There's always new starts with Aries. It's a cardinal sign. Cardinal signs are action taking, they're pivots. It's fire. It's joyful energy, like the joyful energy of a child that has a sense of naivete is one of the ways Aries energy can show up. It's independent, confident on the high road. It can be competitive energy. Now, shadow Aries energy is cocked, ready for battle, violent, engaging in conflict or pushing to have conflict. Now, there's also the hero archetype that runs into a burning building like a fire person when everyone else is running out the other way. There also can be survival instincts. So the moon moves from Pisces to Aries. And stages of grief, one of the stages of grief is mourning, but then there can be anger, like, why did this person have to leave me? With Pisces, there can be a flood. And then with Aries, people are in survival mode, or there's some kind of confusion. All of a sudden, you get a great idea and you're fired up and ready to go. This can be a very sexy full moon. The sun is in Libra, the sign of relationships. The moon is in Aries, reporting into Mars, as Aries always does, and Mars is in Scorpio. So this can be hot and passionate, 9.5 weeks kind of energy. The tarot card is the Three of Wands. It's a card of expansion and opportunity. Do you have the confidence to move forward with your goals, even though the future feels uncertain? Now, it's called Dr. Sleep because Jupiter in Cancer is square Chiron in Aries. You can listen to last week's podcast. I talked about how this square is tightening. Squares are tension. Jupiter rules doctors. It aids to life. It is benefic. And Chiron is the wounded healer. There may be news about medical professionals providing drugs to people that is exposed because Mercury goes into Scorpio on the day of the full moon, so there can be an expose. I'm thinking about Michael Jackson's doctor and Matthew Perry's doctor. They both died of drug overdoses, and there's energy for overdoing it with drugs with the moon moving from Pisces. The last aspect it makes is a conjunction to Saturn. Then the moon moves into Aries and there's an emergency. You hear ambulance sirens. So something may come to light, a story about this that happened in the past. Or there could be news about assisted suicide somewhere, some kind of expose about it, or a state or country trying to enact new laws related to assisted suicide. The episode was almost called No Ring Circus because I think the United States, there may be a movement of the Olympics or some of these soccer games with the World Cup out of the country because of the harsh treatment visitors have been getting. I talked about this on a previous podcast. Considering all the aspects of the chart, notice what you're seeing about financial showdowns. The government of the United States closed down at the first quarter moon, where the sun in Libra, the politicians who were supposed to be negotiating together could not come to any agreement about how to keep the government open, so it's shut down. Hopefully, it'll be back up ASAP if it's still shut down. I hope it's back by October 4th. So it shut down when Mercury in Libra was square Jupiter in Cancer. Mercury in Scorpio will be trine Jupiter in Cancer on October 24th. So hopefully at the latest, that will be when it's coming back online. Full moons are times of illumination. Look to your natal chart. What are the two houses with Aries and Libra? The sun is shining a spotlight in your Libra house. What has come to your conscious attention over the last week and a half about Libra topics? You can think about fairness, partnerships, alliances, appearances, art, culture. The moon is in your Aries house. Think about all the topics Aries discussed. What have you learned? Aries is the I am, Libra is the I partner. Has there been any power struggles between you and your partner or best friend or business partner where you felt like someone is carrying more of the weight? Libra wants fairness and win-win solutions. Aries wants what Aries wants. So this is a great annual time for you to examine internally, how much do you go along to get along versus stand up for yourself? Or do you bully your partner to get what you want? Are you passive aggressive? How do you take action to get what you want? And with Mercury and Scorpio, this is a really great time to face your shadows and be really honest with yourself. Pull a card with that question, a tarot or an oracle card. This moon phase family began as a solar eclipse on April 8th, 2024. There was a solar eclipse conjunct the Chiron of the United States of America at 19 degrees of Aries. Think back to what was going on in your life at that time. 9 months later, there was a first quarter moon. The sun was in Capricorn and the moon was in Aries at 16 degrees for both signs on January 6, 2025. So the moon was in about the same place in your chart. There may have been a story that started at the solar eclipse that had a pivot point. The full moon of the cycle is tomorrow. The sun is in Libra, the moon is in Aries, both at 14 degrees. That's October 6, 2025. The last quarter moon of this cycle, where the sun is in Cancer and the moon is in Aries, which is when we're thinking about lessons learned, is July 7th, 2026, at 15 degrees of each of the respective signs. If you are embarking on a new journey, experiencing a major life event, feeling stuck, trying to make a difficult decision, or just looking to make positive changes, astrology can provide life-changing insights. There are several ways to work with me. You can come for a 60 or 90-minute astrology consultation depending on your needs. Engage in longer-term cosmic success coaching, where we work together on a 3-month basis to help you overcome blocks, improve your life satisfaction, build better relationships, accomplish your career goals, and understand yourself better using the tool of astrology. Or mystic mentoring if you're an aspiring astrologer and want help with chart analysis techniques. Go to astrologybyceleste.com to check out my offerings. If you have any questions, you can email me at celeste@astrologybyceleste.com. On Sunday, the word of the day is onslaught. We have the Pisces Moon meet the North Node, both at 18 degrees. And that just feels like a lot of anything, whether it's rain, ecstasy, fighting. It's the North Node is an amplifier, and Pisces is this mutable, watery energy that is expansive. The moon is opposite Venus in Virgo, both at 19 degrees. So there may be a feeling of separation between you and your loved ones. Can you bridge the gap with kindness rather than criticism? The moon meets Saturn retrograde at 27 degrees. So there's flood energy. This is a day where people can get into arguments. Be mindful if you have a real surge of emotion. Can you take a breath? Pisces is a mute sign. Can you keep your mouth closed? Be careful with intoxicants and medication. There is a lot of energy to be confused and for people to take a double dose of medication and it being a problem. The moon enters Aries at 9:47 p.m. Pacific time. Aries is cardinal initiating fire. So if you were feeling very blah, you may get a little surge of energy. If your kid was supposed to go to bed, they may pop out and want to be talking to you again. And then the moon meets Neptune in Aries. So people can be passionately fired up and ready to get into conflict about belief systems. On Monday, the word of the day is expose. Mercury enters the sign of Scorpio at 9:40 a.m. Pacific time. The secret is out. And Mercury is King Kong's Neptune in Aries. Neptune is associated with peace and Aries competition. Both of them are at 0 degrees. So this is where I think there could be news about the Olympics. The full moon at 14 degrees of Aries is at 8:47 p.m. Pacific time. All is revealed about Aries topics. So there could be news about competition. There's been a lot of people rising up against their governments around the world. In Italy, there was a general strike where all these different factions of workers went on strike to protest their government being involved with Israel because of the war on Gaza and shut it down. This may still be going on. I don't know. I'm recording this on October 1st. But how you can think about yourself. What would you consider fighting over or using your voice to stand up against oppression is something you may want to be considering. What is something that would really motivate you? Because Neptune is in the sign of Aries. People are very passionate about their belief systems. But the lesson is to act boldly without burning bridges. And if you're feeling far apart from someone, there's a full illumination where you can just use this for understanding and releasing what no longer serves you. But keep yourself safe. There's a lot of energy of intensity. On Tuesday, the word of the day is forbidden. Mercury is quincunx Uranus retrograde in Gemini, and Mercury rules Gemini. So Mercury in Scorpio, quincunx Uranus in Gemini retrograde. Someone finds a recording device. Someone realizes someone was snooping in their DMs. Quincunxes move us into new situations where we have to release and let go of something. Someone could take their phone away from their child because they realized they were playing games when they were supposed to be paying attention in class, and it could set off a big conflict. Mercury in Scorpio then squares Pluto retrograde, both at 1 degree, and Pluto's in Aquarius. I got the song Please Me by Bruno Mars and Cardi B playing in my head. This is something coming out about sexual secrets on some kind of recording device. The Aries Moon squares Jupiter in Cancer. People can be really heated up. They're both at 23 degrees. So if you have anything around that degree, be aware of your emotions because we can act in ways that are self-harming with the moon then meets Chiron retrograde. So there is still a lot of intense energy for getting into discussions that are extremely heated, and things can be moving really fast with the Aries moon. And one of the shadows of Aries is impulsivity. Now, with this moon Chiron retrograde at 25 degrees, this could also be literally there's a fire and people are looking for their belongings and having to gather their most precious items because the moon moves into Taurus at 10:12 p.m. Pacific time. And that could be, let me take all my precious belongings and get out of here because the moon is exalted in Taurus. Taurus is an earth sign ruled by Venus, and it can be about the things that you really prize. Now, a Taurus moon is also very sensual. So over the next couple of days, you may feel like, ooh, I want some ice cream, or I want a massage, or to make my nails look nice, or things like that. Notice if you're ready to slow down, or if you're working out when the moon is in Aries and injure yourself with that moon Chiron, ooh, let me get a massage. You could schedule a massage for the next day. Could be how that flow of energy goes. On Wednesday, the word of the day is explain. The Taurus moon squares Pluto retrograde and then opposes Mercury in Scorpio. And this is a very quick. And like I got the image of someone and potentially a woman at a microphone talking about something to a legal authority potentially, because Venus in Virgo is sextile Jupiter and Cancer. They're both at 23 degrees of their respective signs. Now, Venus sextile Jupiter is wonderful energy. This could be someone giving a talk to a group of people, explaining their story, and it really is emotional with Jupiter in the sign of Cancer. It's meant to help and heal people. Venus and Jupiter both aid to life. They are considered benefic, which also is great energy to just make your own magic, manifest something you want. With sextiles in yin signs, it's like you can create something. If you put in the focus energy to make it happen, then Venus is King Kunk's Chiron in Aries. So try not to doubt yourself or let your feelings of self-worth or perfectionism is a Virgo energy. Chiron in Aries can be about doubts about the self. It's a wounded healer. And if you don't let your self-doubt stop you from continuing to move forward, or perfectionism keep you stuck going in circles. On Thursday, the word of the day is enthusiastic. The Gemini moon begins at 10:11 p.m. Pacific time. And then the first aspect it makes is a conjunction with Uranus at 1 degrees of Gemini. Conjunctions, the energy is merged. So someone can be feeling really hyped up, having a good time, enthusiastic. This can be if you're at a party and it's kind of dull. All of a sudden, when the moon goes into Gemini, people start chatting and having a good time. Gemini is mutable air energy. On Friday, the word of the day is disperse. And I got dispersing flyers, an image of people handing out papers. There's a disseminating moon at 2 degrees of Gemini. Maybe it's about a protest because Uranus is the planet that rules protests, revolutions, revolts. On Saturday, the word of the day is boundary. The Gemini moon will square the lunar nodes, both at 17 degrees. So with squares to the nodes, you come up against a choice point. Do you go to the south node in Virgo, and the south node is a drain, and by getting really critical about things or perfectionistic, it can lead to loss. The north node's in Pisces, which can be about trusting your intuition, surrender, compassion. And that may be the better way to go with a conversation because we want to aim towards the north node because that's an area of gain. And this can be a big make it or break it about relationships because this is the day Venus in Virgo is opposite Saturn and Pisces, both at 26 degrees. So this can be tension in a relationship leads to a separation. And now there's all these tariffs. I don't know if it started already, but 100% tariffs are going to be on certain medications that come from out of the country. And Ozempic is made in Europe. Venus in Virgo. Virgo rules health. Pisces rules drugs. Venus is something that the person may be taking for their looks. And Saturn, there's a boundary or a block. And somebody might go up to order their Ozempic and now the price is doubled and they can no longer afford it. That's the image I got with this. Or just anything, something you wanted. Could be your favorite chocolate bar. And it doubled in price and you're like, I'm not paying $15 for that. Then the moon squares Saturn and Venus. So there's tough energy on Saturday. Venus opposite Saturn is tough energy. Then the moon enters Cancer at 11:36 p.m. Pacific time. The moon is at home in this sign where it can do what it does with ease, which is feel and emote and be intuitive. This is a great time to maybe pull some tarot cards or oracle cards. Get into water, whether you take a bath or go for a swim over the next couple of days. So that's it for this week's episode. Feel free to email me at celeste@astrologybyceleste.com with any astrology and action stories about what happened this week, or let me know how the daily themes are playing out for you. Take care, and I'll catch you next week. Thank you for listening to Celestial Insights. To learn more about my work, please visit my website, astrologybyceleste.com, where I offer personal readings, horary consultations, cosmic coaching, group events, and classes to help guide people to higher levels of fulfillment. You can also find me on Instagram, YouTube, TikTok, and Facebook at Astrology by Celeste. If you enjoyed Celestial Insights, please help others find the show. Follow, rate it 5 stars, or write a nice review. I would so appreciate it. I'm astrologer, coach, and intuitive Celeste Brooks, and I'll be back next week.